Okay, now you're recording. Now you're recording.
Okay, thanks, okay.
And then you find it and it's
Yes.
like, oh, this is
Yes.
useful.
Okay, guys, it's recording now, so careful what you say. All right, we're gonna do today lead follow-up. Qualifying potential buyers and potential sellers. Hi, Sue Hoffman. Does everybody know everybody? Sue, Rory, Jackie, she's on my team now. She's Orange County, if you ever need anything in Orange County, like Costa Mesa, right?
Awesome.
Okay,
All over.
yeah, so, I want to welcome everybody, and this is going to be qualifying potential buyers and sellers. A little bit about me. I've been selling real estate since 1998. I started in La Jolla down in San Diego. My first month in, I had 8 deals. So you can, I don't know what to do for an answer. And but the market was the market's like it is now, where things weren't on the market and then they start coming in. But we had a thing called floor time. So people would walk in. I was at Pacific Beach in San Diego. People come in and visit, now they want to buy something, right? So I had that. It was actually 2 months in. And then I had a friend who was selling their condo and buying another place. So that's 2 deals, right? 2 sides. And then I had a gal that I'd met on an open house come in, they wanted me to list there. That's 4. And then hers never sold, but that's the story behind that. And then there was, gosh, I should remember most of these. So let's say 5 the first month. Like I know there was more. There was one in Pacific Beach where he bought 2, so that's 2 deals, even though it was one guy. So, and I go online and to see if they still own them, and a lot of them do. Isn't that crazy? So they bought a place in Pacific Beach for $150,000. Now it's probably worth $1 million. Crazy. Yeah.
Have you asked them if they've thought of selling?
Well, I will eventually, but they're in San Diego, so it's
Right,
right down there.
much
But I'm just
harder.
gonna reach out to them and just say, hey,
You know what your home's worth now?
yeah, they know. He's renting it out, using it as a, okay. So I think all. So there we are. There's Sue and Jackie and Rory.
Yes.
Rory. Okay, we're going to cover today how to qualify potential buyers and sellers. Before we begin, let's hear about the progress with the success system from yesterday. Nobody was here yesterday, so Friday, I guess. Was it Thursday? When was the last class? I don't know. This isn't normally a.
She said there was a test yesterday.
There was?
I think Manny talked to yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and how's this whole thing going for you guys? I mean, is it helpful? Is it?
Each Ignite I come to, I would walk away with at least one thing that is useful to me, at least.
Good. And you know what I want you guys to do is sometimes you hear something and you hear a lot of things, like the things I keep sending you. You have to take one thing and then do the next thing and then do the next thing, because otherwise you don't do any of it. That's how I work. Because I'll do them all, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything because it's overwhelming. And everybody know Roman? This is Roman. So for the let's see. Okay, I'm supposed to ask if your birthday falls and I don't know what month we're in. Raise your hand and I'll call on you to share. Keep in mind that it's not perfection, it's not progress. So basically, is it?
Yeah, May 24th.
No, happy birthday coming up. Do you guys have you all been able to meet with your accountability partners? Do you have accountability partners in this? You
What's an
don't.
accountability?
Well, basically, you take a peer, somebody that's in these classes with you, and you make goals what to do, and then you see if you each do it. It's basically accountability. I have my team that I check in with them once a week and say, did you do it? No, okay, well, then there's your problem, right? So, or yes, great. How far did it go? What were your ahas working with it? Since you guys haven't, we're gonna go to the next page. I think I do this, yes. So here's all the agenda today. We're gonna classify by able, ready, and willing. You've heard the term ready, willing, and able, and all that. We want them able ready, then willing. Okay, and then your number one job as a real estate agent is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. Right, that's basically it. Find the motivated. What myth understandings do you hold about finding buyers and sellers? Let's go with you, Jackie, first. What's your myth about finding them? What do you think? Okay, Rory?
I think a myth would be people know what they want or are realistic about what they can afford.
Yeah, or how about they think the market they think the market, there's too many offers?
I missed the question, sorry.
It's okay, it's right there. What myths do you hold about finding buyers and sellers? Go ahead.
Some more, I think that most people think that they can afford a home, so they don't even try.
Or they think they need 20% down.
Yeah, like most people think it's hard to buy a home, they think it's too out of their league.
Right.
So most people don't, it's like a girl, like they don't even try, they misunderstand. It's like an analogy, right? Like,
Yeah.
they think it's out of their league, so they don't even, they think it's out of their league, so they don't even give it a shot, and then they're wasting money or renting or leasing, and so somebody like us tries to talk sense into them, and then they're.
Well, but see, you can't talk sense into them. What you gotta do is dig deep with questions, and we're gonna go over that. So what's your myth on sellers or buyers?
A lot of people, just for example, my manager came to me
I'm gonna close those guys, okay?
regarding purchasing from the first time buyer program, which is in the seminar.
Right.
And he was like, I did not know that one had to have HOA dues, they don't have the correct facts to pay, he wanted a condo. And he was just thinking that he could purchase a condo with a mortgage, he wasn't aware of the extra finances that came with purchasing the property.
Actually, that's not a myth. That's true, right? Yes. But so what you do is when you're interviewing with I do buyer, like buyer presentations. And if you guys, I always offer this, if you ever have somebody you want to meet with and you want somebody with you, call me and I will show up and help you ask the questions and answer the questions, okay? And kind of close them, because I know somebody's been on 3 listing appointments and hasn't got them. That makes me crazy. They should be able to get them, and I think it's because they're new. So what I need to say is I work with the greatest team in the South Bay, Keller Williams Realty, right? Well, you do work with the greatest team, you do. I mean, I'm kidding. So it says held about lead generation for starting. For example, you might share the myth that lead generation must cost money. That's what I'm talking about. What also is scary is, you think you have to, oops, did I go too far now? So you think sometimes that it costs money to get leads or buyers or sellers, right? That's another myth. Because basically, it doesn't have to cost. Referral from friend, neighbor, or relative is 47% of all buyers. So what's that tell you? Your phone is your database. Have each of you called and said, hi, it's Jackie, and I wanted to let you know I just moved to Keller Williams. Or I just made a really big career decision and I got into real estate and I'm at one of the best offices in the South Bay, Keller Williams. I just wanted you to know that. If you have any real estate questions, I want you to think of me. I mean, it's that simple. It sounds, you want it to be organic. You don't want to sound like the people that are telemarketing all the time, right? So I put that out to you guys to call your database. And do it this way: Mondays, A through F, Tuesday, G through, I don't know, the next 5, and then go down each day. What is there, 26 letters in the alphabet? So divide that by 5, and that's 5 per day, okay? So if you go through A, and you can pick it for the first name and last name, I don't know what the rules are, I would just say, that's a great way to do it, like how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time? Well, this is one grab of alphabet at a time, okay? What do you believe you currently hold about finding buyers and sellers? What are your beliefs? Do you? All right, we'll go to the next one. So the National Association of Realtors collects data every year on the buyers and sellers' experiences. That's what this is. Do these numbers tell you, well, tell us about where to find potential buyers? Yes, right here. Right, so if you know anybody in the process of buying a house, and yeah, they might be using somebody else, right? They always, I'm telling you, it's like when you put a house on the market, 3 of the neighbors sell, always. It's a proven fact. That's why I always tell people to circle prospects when you have a listing. Okay? I used to do this. I'd go in and get a listing. Like when I'm done with the one, when I get the listing signed for the house I'm working on in PB, and there's one in South Redondo, and they're slow moving, I want to get it done. So I'm gonna go door knock at the neighbors and say, do you know what your neighbor just did? It's a great title. Oh no, what'd they do? They had 3 guests over there. What happened now, right? They just put their house on the market. We're gonna sell it for 1,850 if you know anybody in the neighborhood. That easy. And you leave your card. You don't even have to freaking flyer. You know? So I used to love that because they're like, go knock. Hey, did you hear what your neighbor did? You can even send a postcard, but by then it signs out and everything else, right? So you just knock on the door. I would go house this way, one this way, and maybe 2 or 3 across. The ones that see that house, right? That know something's going on probably. And then it goes out like wildfire. So that's a great way to build. Yes, Gordon.
So would you, I just sold a property and it's kind of mixed renters as well as single family residences.
Mhm.
Would you also go up to the renters' homes and also, I have flyers that I got printed out, let them know?
Yes, so that's a great question. Because typically you all should have a relationship with a title rep. If you don't, get one. Because who's your title rep that gave you that info?
Give me what info?
That tells you there's renters versus.
Oh, well, I can just see that it's like duplexes and.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, yes, what's your name? I'm sorry,
Donna.
Donna, okay.
How many title reps did we have?
I know, there's tons. There's like Matt McLean, there's Joanne.
With who?
Joanne's with orange title.
Yeah.
And on Orange Coast title. And then I use Ben Shu and Grant Alley from First American. I use 4 or 5 of them. But my big go-to when I have a problem on a property is Ben, because he's always gotten me out of hot water, right? But what you want him for is to order your farm areas, to order. He sold this listing. You should have had him pull it owner occupied versus absentee.
Okay.
The absentees are going to probably be renters. Then you get their phone numbers and you call them and you say, hey, this is Rory, I just want to let you know I sold your neighbor's place next door. Have you thought about selling? Or do you have any real estate questions about our market here? Do you know, and then they have your info. If they live in Texas or they live in Arizona, right? You're gonna have an agent that you can refer them to out there, or you're gonna say, you know, since you're living out in Arizona and you want to sell this, you could probably easier to maintain, what's the word? Maintain or you know what I'm thinking of, maintenance. God.
Like nurture.
Yeah, well, maintaining the property is easier when you're close. So that's the conversation. Something like, have you thought about buying another property out there since you're right there? I've got an agent I work with, and then you go through and you interview some of the Keller Williams agents that are in our database. But I really want you guys to find a title rep. I've got Joanne's, hers is great. They each have different programs and things that their websites do. Yeah.
How do you find, and how do we make contact? Is there a list with the phone numbers on there?
I can get you afterward, I'll give you several names. And then you can call them, like Matt Bibling, he has a great, you go on there, he's got a blog, he's got this, he's got videos. You want all of them, but then you're gonna build a rapport with different ones to use when you have a listing. I always do a prelim. A front to find out if there's trouble, but that's a different cost. So let's get back to this because they're recording and they'll tell me you didn't say that. So more buyers are finding their agents through referrals more than any other source. Okay, so people you know that have bought or sold, the people that bought that condo are gonna know other people that are gonna buy or that property, whatever it was. People who know you are the agent of more potential, you must help them with a home purchase and more likelihood for referrals. Also, if you see it also has for sale and open house signage, 5%. I don't know what's up there. I have to, how do you move that? Oh, there. Hi, guys. Down here is the different visited an open house. This is how they got them, the buyers, okay? But notice it's mostly, I typically get a lot of repeat buyers or sellers. Like a seller will then call me and list their home. But the biggest thing is the referral from a friend. So it's about keeping in contact with your SOI, which is your sphere of influence. Okay? Oh, come on, baby. There. So this is our command. I don't know if you guys are all set up on that yet. What's the matter?
I'm trying to get in there. and I
Have you talked to Scott already? My son was really good about it. He can maybe come in and show you.
Well, I was, yeah, okay.
So it'd be good, like say for example, like a good idea, like after every home we sell, say, I tell the homeowner like, hey, I would like to gift you something if you allow me to like.
Now,
maybe take
you have to be careful of us.
Or just pretty much ask them to make a video saying, hey, thank you for helping us purchase something.
Yeah,
You're kind of like shouting me out,
Right.
giving me like an advertisement, and then their people kind of see their Facebook friends will see, oh, they just bought a home with this realtor, and then they can talk to their friends, hey, how was he? And then they can,
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
that's what I'm.
But you have to do it in 3 different ways.
Right.
You don't have just somebody that's looking at videos. You have somebody else that wants the print and somebody else that goes online.
Yeah, so the thing is like, are the customers we already sold, we can sell to their friends as well, to their
Right.
sphere of influence, so
Yeah.
it's good to have them shout us out to as
Yeah,
much as
and
they
one of-
can.
Yeah, one of the things to do
That's
is
good.
host a party, a client party. You know, you say, okay, let me host a housewarming party.
Yeah.
Give me your database. Give me all your friends and I'll invite them. Guess what you just got? Another list of potentials. I should have brought it. We just made for our listings, it's not an original idea, I got it from somebody else, but it's a sign writer. It says, what's it say, sir? It says, get a
Pizza.
pizza with
Every.
with the
free
purchase
pizza
of this
with
house.
pizza.
And a free pizza.
Get a free pizza with the purchase of this house.
That's how.
So what she's gonna do now is the anniversary of her house, of her client, she just sends a pizza to them. What if you did that every year or every month of their anniversary? They think of you every month. And she didn't ask for it, she just sent them the thing, says, hope you're enjoying your home. Right? That's cheap, $10, $20, depending on where you get your pizza. So you're closing with, was it buyers or sellers?
Buyers.
So now, in a month, you look at their anniversary date, and they probably don't even remember the anniversary date. I send them their closing statement in April or January. I always send them their closing statement at the end of the year because they need it for their taxes. You know, the net seller's proceeds or the buyer's proceeds that you get from escrow, keep those. And then also, what was the other thing I just said? Oh, pizza or something every month. Okay? What methods of lead generation and follow-up has Ignite taught that's in line with this? Do you guys know? Does anybody have any? Because you're not all at the same classes all the time. Oh, which are all, that's okay. Anybody? I mean, as there's.
Right there on the board, the 36 touches.
Which is 4 phone calls in or in person, so, okay, then you got, is that 12 emails? Yeah, 12 emails, 2 postcards, and social media, targeted ads and boosted. I just learned something the other day about social media, I suck at social media. But this guy, this last thing said, let's say you post something and you got 10 likes. You go to those people that liked yours and like everybody in their thing, and that's gonna grow your audience, because only 1 or 2 of them are gonna follow you.
Yeah.
But because you're friends with them and all this like stuff, yeah, I don't even know if it's an algorithm, because you're directing it. You go in, so I see Rory's friends, click, 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 click. Right? And then they're gonna talk, they're gonna share your stuff, I'm gonna share your stuff, you're gonna share your stuff. So I just learned that at the Glover thing the other day, it was like, that's pretty cool, I like that, because that's easy. I don't have to think about, what do I do post? What do I do? So you should be posting every day for social media, something about business, whether it be take a shot from here today. I'm in a class learning how to be a better agent review. Give me your phones and I'll take pictures of you guys studying, okay? We'll do a thing at the end. And so a good way to begin cultivating referrals is by using the 4. Remember the friend, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And that's in a normal conversation. I call up Jackie and I'm like, hey, Jackie, it's been a long time. How's the family?
Sounds good, thank you.
Great. And the job, are you still over at SoFi?
Yes, I am.
And I'm selling houses.
And I'm also selling real estate, I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
self-focused.
Yeah, no, but that's a perfect link in,
Right.
because you're gonna talk about your career and you're gonna go, oh, what are you doing now? To me, and I'll go, oh, I moved over to Keller Williams, it's a segue into real estate, and it's organic. It doesn't feel like those guys, do you want to sell your house, you can sell your house, you want to sell your house, that you get calls for all day, right? Okay. All right. You probably have learned how to capture leads from open houses and social media. We talked about that. I think I taught that class. And then use social media to find buyers through social media websites from session 8. I don't know what that one was, but now we're going to classify. It's a mess. Hold on, this is out of order. 13.7, 13.8. What's 8? Sorry, guys. 9. Okay. We're going to go now to how focus becomes increasingly possible and direct proportion to how clear you are about what you want, when you want it, and you must do and what you must do to get it. So able, willing, and ready. How do you find out if somebody's able, willing, and ready? Well, you come from curiosity. Able, willing. This is the way to break down your buyers in your database. I like this way. But I have 5,000 that I have to go through. So you have buyers, sellers, you have service providers. You have past clients, because they're not current. They're all going to be treated differently. So able, ready, and willing to do business in 0 to 14 days is an A client. B, this is on buyer or sellers, okay? B, you have able, ready, and willing to do business in 15 to 60 days. C is able, ready, and willing to do business in 61 plus. I have D's like Jen, but I keep them in there just because someday maybe they'll.
Those are the like what if.
Well, there's just people I met that I put in there and thought, oh, well.
Maybe someday.
So we talked about 36 plans. That's after a closing. When you're calling them to follow, when you close on a deal, did you, since you just closed on one, where was it?
San Pedro,
Where in Pedro?
on Cabrillo.
So it was buyers, and they bought a duplex?
They bought a single family. It's basically like a townhome, but no HOA fees or anything like that. They don't have a yard, but it's a 3-level building.
And each one was in a, okay.
Correct.
When you did that, did you bring them something on closing day? Did you make a big deal about it?
We went to dinner. They're friends and family,
Right.
so I just treated them to dinner.
Right.
I got them some wine, and I like wine, so I drink the wine with them.
That's good.
Yeah.
I don't do that because if I drink, it's gonna be ugly. But I typically will take them to dinner. You have to remember, moving day is stressful. So the pizza idea is great. Hey, I just wanted to bring you something. Take a break and have a pizza, right? Or you could do a basket because they can't find all their belongings, maybe the kitchen stuff. A pan, you know, a little pan, make eggs.
Maybe like a new flat screen TV or something.
No, yeah, you could, I mean, you gotta know your client, you're getting to know them during the process,
I mean,
right?
you
If
know,
you go in their house and you see their golfers, maybe get them a golfing day at Los Verdes or something.
What I'm saying is if you really, really hook them up, they're really, really gonna tell their friends about it.
Oh, yeah, but you have to remember, I know what you're saying, because you come from a hardcore sales thing.
Yeah.
We have to be careful about rust violations, which is, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. You can't do that, you have to do it the same thing for everybody, or you do it because you want to, not because you want something, even though that's the end result, because you're being good to somebody. So that's your breakdown, ahas from that, okay? Qualified buyers and sellers. I am on, come on, wrong page, let me get to that. The stapler came out, and so now I'm a mess here. Buyer, seller, okay. So with the able, ready, willing framework in hand, we're almost ready to qualify potential buyers and sellers that we need now. And the questions and conversation starters that will help us determine who is able, ready, and willing. In this section, we are going to cover on how to use a buyer sheet and a pre-listing questionnaire as a qualification tools. Okay. Rory, you want to read that and tell me the answers?
Why qualify? Win-win. Document, follow a checklist, abide by fair housing regulations.
Perfect. And the reason why we say follow the checklist here, I have this here for you guys. This is one I use. This was for somebody that was doing wholesaling, but it's a good one to ask questions with. So I'll pass it around and you guys want copies later. So there's a buyer question sheet and a seller question sheet. And basically the reason why you want something in front of you, it directs the next question, right? It makes it so it's organic.
You can have like a checklist, like a checklist.
Well, that is your checklist.
Yeah, right.
Right, so we're gonna say, we get the sheet, right? And you use a buyer lead sheet to guide you through the qualifications. Sample is included in your participant guide allegedly. So we're gonna do real play, okay? I'm gonna be asking these questions kind of organically, but it's kind of cool. So you're the buyer, Rory said, hi Rory, I'm excited to have you sit down, you're sitting down in the conference room or they're, well, for buyers, it's typically here. Because it shows professionalism, it shows that you've got a team around you, you know, I think it's a good idea to either use an office or a conference room, okay, when you meet with buyers. A lot of agents don't do buyer presentations. I think it's silly because there's so many regulations and so many things happening out there. You want to be the expert because there's 15 agents pulling at them. So how are you going to be better than them? By sitting down and consulting them. Hi, Sue. So we're going to do roll call. Hi, Rory, I'm excited to help you. You can change it, right? But it's basically, I'm excited to help you find your new home. I'd like to start with some questions to make sure I can give you a 5-star customer service. You're already putting it in there that you're the best there is. I say the golden standard because our logo has gold. So I say gold. We make sure that we give you the gold standard. Let's start with some basics. What's the best email? Because it's up here on this sheet, right? It'll ask you, you know the name. So it'll say prospect name, address. Oh, that's seller, sorry, we do buyer. We're on buyer, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of your check sheet. You got the name because you and their spouse, because hopefully they're both there. Here we are. Let's see. Thank you for that. Okay. What's your best email and phone number for me to reach you? They give you that. It's at top. Has another agent? Thank you for that. So what are your best times to be able to reach you? You want to find out when they want to and how they want to be contacted. If there are people that like to text, you better text them, not call them, because they won't answer. People think they went MIA. They're not MIA, you're not responding to the way they.
Yeah, they usually communicate, yeah.
Right,
Like, it's
Well,
like some
you
people
very
use, it's like some people hit me up on Snapchat, I won't respond for 2 weeks, it's like, I don't go on it, I'm on
Right.
Instagram every day.
Right,
You should have just
Right,
messaged
but-
me there.
but that's people that don't know sales or anything,
Right,
right? So you
right.
wanna ask them, how do you prefer to be contacted? Email,
Right.
phone, do you wanna hear my voice when I'm sitting here all day? Or do you want me to text you? Okay? And with those texts, you can't send video texts. If it's complicated and it's gonna take too long. Hey Donna, it's Lauren, I just wanna let you know, I found out there is copper plumbing in the house. Let me know when you're ready to write an offer. Okay, right, you just sent a video, what, to that person. Let's go back, sorry. Has another agent taken you out to show you any properties? So let's say they have had other agents going out. What's your conversation then? Well, have you signed a contract with them, or you? I mean, I'm the kind of, I don't step on other agents' toes, so if you're loyal with them, we're gonna have to end the conversation now. That's not in here, but that's what I do. But I would ask that, this is actually a phone call, this isn't a conference room, because this is a pre-qualification to get the buyer into. So if another agent's showing, go, oh, okay, are you still working with them? How are they, or is what happened, right? You wanna get to the bottom of it. If the volunteer answer is no, then you say, I am excited to be the agent who takes you to see some properties. So let's say they have, is there anyone else purchasing the home with you? Right, so now you're finding out that there's Jackie and her husband. Or what's your husband's name? I forgot this is a phone call. So you get that name, and then all the decision makers have to be present when you have the actual consult. If yes, great, let's add their name, their contact information as well, so I can share listings with both of you. You know how you can do it on the MLS, you send out, we've got that nice little one home thing now, it was pretty cool, it's better than where they did it before. I wanna help you find the home that fits your needs and the needs of anyone else who you may be living with. Who will you be living with? This is how you're gonna find out if they have kids, if they have an elderly mother that's living with them, because guess what, you probably want a bedroom and a bath downstairs. So you can put that search in the thing. You are now going to be listening to them and answering their needs more than most agents. I tell you, most of them just send everything like they're vomiting all these properties on. You want to do specific to what they need. This is how you do it. You can try we can help you find the right fit for you and, you know, whatever the spouse is in. Based on, okay, we can find the right fit for Jackie and Armand, you know, and then you say, how long have you been looking for a home? What is Adon?
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I've been thinking about it all day, going, how do you say his name?
Thanks.
So you ask them, how long have you been looking for a home? Because if they've been looking for a while, then they're probably those people that are just kind of getting their feet wet, not sure if they're in there. How long have you been looking for a home? So Rory says 3 months and in 4 different cities, right, whatever it is. You affirm and acknowledge, oh, 3 months, and you looked in Gardena, Torrance, and Lomita, so you've affirmed what they just said. If you guys want to make copies of it, you can. These are just a sample of something, but I think you have one in your book. If you have-
So we're asking these questions when we.
You're on the
first
phone, yeah, or on the open house,
get
right?
open house.
So when I was doing an open house, I'm like, sign in, like I showed you guys that last one, you know, little app or the sheets that I showed you. You don't mind signing in, okay, some people won't sign in. They're like, I'm not signing, but then you're not gonna see the house. It's for my safety and for my seller's safety.
But sometimes they will not phone you.
Well, we can't control that, right?
I guess you could just call them right then and there.
Right, you know, I said, I can't read this number.
Left the owner.
Or text, let me text you to make sure that I got this right.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, there, see, the young people always help me, that's.
At the end of the day, it's just a numbers game, right? We just gotta
Yeah, it is.
go ahead and just keep getting.
Integrity, right.
Oh, we're supposed to role play for 50, okay. So
So
Yeah.
for, like, for these questions, I try my best to do these. Now that I have this, I feel much better.
Right, you can fill them in, takes time too, I have different call sheets that I'll give you guys, if you want, just come by my office.
I think I'll execute much better now that I have that at my disposal, but like, something that I've been trying to do is get clients to meet me at listings, right? So send me anything that you have in mind right now. Is that something I should?
What are you talking about? Can you write it down?
Like I'm
Start
making
with
this
the-
initial phone call with them, right? I'm asking them all these.
How'd you get it?
Just a lead generator, right? And I get a
Okay, so you're
phone call.
calling, okay,
Yeah.
because they're calling, they clicked on the property,
Correct.
okay, that's where I was trying to figure out where that came from, okay, so they clicked on property on Zillow or something,
Yeah.
so I don't see this property,
Right.
okay?
So then they don't always have an idea. If they don't, I'll try and find something for them quickly that we can meet at. But what I'm wondering is, should I have this initial meeting in person first, like for example, at the office, as opposed to just asking these questions and then meeting at
No,
the
because you
listing?
wanna qualify them to see if they're even worth your time.
Okay,
Your time is valuable. I don't care how new you are. You're a commodity. You need to make them value you as well. And I don't work with buyers unless they've done the
And
work.
this is how you filter them out before
Yeah,
you even waste your
right.
time.
Right, because you're asking, so let's go through this. Affirm and acknowledge. I'm curious, why are you moving? So let's say it's a renter. Well, my landlord just raised the rent, and if I'm gonna pay that amount, I might as well buy. Great. Have you spoken to, so this doesn't have all that, but I would say, great, have you talked to a lender? Do you know anything about the interest rates? Maybe we should start there. Or no, I've already done that, I'm approved for 850, boom, boom, boom. You've got an able buyer.
That's.
Yeah. That's a 14 to, whatever, 1 to 14 days thing, the A buyer.
Yeah.
Because they said they've already kind of, they went to their bank or they went to their credit union,
They're ready.
you know they're serious, right? The other ones are like, I don't know what to do. Which is what we got a lot at that buyer seminar, do you remember? They were like, we thought we might have 20% down. We thought interest rates were 5.5%. Well, not in our arm. An arm they can get, and when the interest rates start coming back down, that drops, and that won't go over a certain amount. If they do go up 6 more times, they can drop it out. So arms are what I'm gonna do, what I said that, or interest only. There's no negative AMs anymore. That's how we all lost our homes. That is great. Okay, that's a great reason to be in the market, whatever they tell you. A few more questions that I have will help me understand your needs. Are you renting now or do you own? Well, you just found out that they were renting and their landlord's raising their rent, so that's why they want to buy and they don't know it. But let's say they didn't. So they said they're moving. Why are you moving?
I have a fair chunk of change saved and I want to buy some.
Okay, but why are you moving? So you're digging,
Upgrade.
okay, you want to upgrade, or why are you moving?
It's too noisy.
Ah, there's a key. Guess what? You don't want a house near railroad tracks, near freeway, near a bunch of apartments, because he gave you a clue when he said that. Why are you moving?
I just want to downsize.
Okay? New job. There's another key. So guess what? She's got a new job. Maybe it's a new company coming into Torrance. You want to hit every person that's moving here too for the job, right? Right? So you're not just talking with them, you're listening to their answers. That's the problem with a lot of these telemarketers. They'll call and say their script, but not listen to the nuggets that are being given to them. Yes.
So let's say I don't hear something correctly, or is it okay to say, hey, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, just go, you know, a bad connection,
Because I feel
right?
like
Or,
that makes me feel kind of uneasy when I don't.
so you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you just said.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the phone or the distractions behind me, you know, the noise you don't like, it's happening right here. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how it is, but I went to a listing appointment once and I was teaching, I had somebody shout at me and they said, you handled every objection. I didn't know I handled any objections. But as a new agent, you see things differently than I do, so, anyway, do you
Thank you.
know when your lease is up? So you wanna ask them that, because you don't want a breaking lease. And it gives you a timeframe. Guess what, they now make maybe 61 days, right? So that puts them in the C category. Okay, so if they're renting, when's your lease up? You can look and get them ready, so that they move only from there to the new place, so they don't move twice. That's another thing. Do you need to sell your current home to buy?
They're already highly motivated, yeah.
Well, not only that, now you have a listing.
Yeah.
When would be a good time for us to get together so that I can give you a free market analysis? Okay, look, everybody gives a free market analysis. Why don't we do this? Why don't we change our verbiage and say something about, people like free, the trigger words are free, because, instant. There's like 5 words that are trigger words, and I'll give them to you guys. It's on my blogger thing, so I recorded that. If you guys want to just email me and I'll send it to you. I have to do it as a Google Drive because it's too big, it's 3 hours, but there were nuggets, weren't there, Sue?
Yes, very good.
Yeah, so,
And give you your instant home value.
yeah, you can say,
Current instant home value.
you know what, you can say, I need to see your property, and give you an accurate
Instant.
value of your property, not the Zillow's estimate or a Redfin that's never seen your house. So you can say, if it's okay, I'd like to come by and see the house, because it'll help us figure out how much money you have to put down on your purchase. Right? Because maybe they think they're only gonna get 800 because the market's changed. You walk in and go, oh my God, oh, I know like 10 people that want this house. Okay, you have to see it. And until you get used to what properties are going for, which I recommend, brokers open houses whenever you see one. Yeah, you can just go. You don't have to have permission. When they have a brokers open that comes out on the thing, you just go. Or we get with 5 of us and we all drive together, whatever. Yeah, that's how I became really good at pricing, was my brokerage, Cultivating Referrals, when I started, made me go every I want to see the properties, I don't want to see the properties, I want to sell them. She goes, you gotta see them before you can sell them. I was like, I just want business,
You
right?
gotta know your market first.
Exactly. And if you have a specialty neighborhood, you wanna, so, you're signing San Pedro, is that your farm area too?
I'm definitely gonna be farming that area now.
Because if you farm in San Pedro, there's laws in San Pedro that are different than in Torrance. If there's renters in there, they're in rent stabilization, which is RSO,
That's LA County, right?
LA City.
Yeah.
LA City is different than LA County. LA City, you have to give them one of 14 reasons for them to be able to be evicted. Then it takes, just because you're listing it, doesn't mean they have to move. We just went through it with it, Wilmington, they wouldn't move.
Yeah, the burden's on the landlord, not the tenant.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So just be advised on all of that stuff when you do that. If you have questions, I've done a ton of them and they're a nightmare, but
I've got a client who wants a duplex that's tenant occupied, and both of them, I said, I'm not trying to steer them away from it, but I said, this is gonna be hard come the time that you possibly wanna move into one of these. You may have a challenge relocating your tenants.
well, the one thing that you can do in RSO is if he's moving into one, he's allowed to ask them to leave, one of them. You can't move into both though, unless, let's say they have a son, so you've got me and my son wanna move in. You can do that, but you better stay there for a year.
What if the rooms are next to each other and say you want to enlarge the room and you knock down the wall?
I don't know. That's something I'd have to ask somebody that does,
That's
that
like
area.
gray area.
That's a gray area, but, if you're moving in, that's one of the reasons, and like nuisance and all this stuff, but we had a guy in Wilmington that we gave him that 60-day NSE, which is a notice of sale and entry. Everything was going fine until we had buyers come in, they all came in, got it done, removed all their contingencies except for the part about him moving. He came back and sued my sellers and wanted $75,000 to vacate. We're like, you're out of your mind. The problem was, it was during the moratorium. They had more rights than we did. It was a single family home, but it had a shed on it, so this is what was
What's the
2 units.
moratorium?
Moratorium was, the state told landlords they can't evict. I'm
Oh, it was
tired of the
during
government,
It was during the pandemic. huh?
yeah, after 2, but I'm tired of the government telling landlords or homeowners, landowners what they can do. And if we don't stop it, they're gonna take over everything and we're gonna be servants to them.
They're just trying to take over the land like.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You watch. Prop 19 is gonna get rid of Prop 13. Do you know that Prop 19's got great features? You can transfer the property 3 times if you're 55 or older. You can take your property tax and transfer it, it's all great, but they forget the one part. When you die and leave it to your kids, they have to pay current value 1%. So if you pay 200,000 for it, and your taxes were low, that's great. But now, your daughter wants it, and she has to pay 1% of $1 million. So now she doesn't have $10,000, so they have to sell it. That's on purpose. The other thing they're trying to do is get rid of Prop 13, which will put elderly in the streets, which I am not gonna stand for. That's why I'm gonna be sitting on.
So you're saying Prop 19 and Prop 13 are,
They're intertwined, kind of loosely, but they are.
So what are they about? Like, what-
I'll tell you, let's get through here. So anyway, your test plans, add your B and C test plans, right? We talked about the A's are the ones that are now. Those go into, in your command, and if any of you are having trouble hooking up your command, they've got great videos. They've got, I think Sue's doing it, Realtors did it, my son helped us. Kids think differently than we do. I don't know how all those pieces go together. So if somebody's younger that can help her, that knows how to do command, please, we all need to work together. But I can help you too, I think. So also your phone, if you go down to the bottom on your phone, hit Z, go to the contacts and hit the Z on your contacts, go all the way to the bottom. Yeah, so go to contacts. Contacts, right? That's all you have?
Yeah.
That's all you have? Oh, I see what you did. It had a name in it, okay. So now you're gonna have the Z. And it tells you, right, it has 131 on the bottom. Mine had 5,084.
Wow.
But I've been doing this 24 years. So what you do, there's a way, and I don't know how to do it because I had somebody do it for me, but you can export that. Put it into a spreadsheet, clean them up, get rid of duplicates, move them around, like you've got one in with an email and one in with a phone number, merge them. And then put those into your command and call them SOI because they're on your phone. They've been there for some reason. I've got mine set up as service providers. I had an appraiser that gave me 5 listings. See, the people you work with, if you keep giving them business, it's time for you to pull the business if they don't get, if they don't reciprocate. Say, you know what, I've been coming to you for 15 years. Do you know anybody else? No, I don't. Okay, great. So you tell them, and then you hear their friend just sold a house. You're like, hey, we're done. I mean, that's how I do, because I can. But just remind them, and you do little things for them, not to get the business, just the minute you get a referral from somebody, I always send a personal thank you note with a $5 gift card that says, before I even know if I'm gonna get anything from it, have some coffee on me, thanks. Right?
Right.
Because they're gonna know, hey, I get a cup of coffee every time. Right? Right? I mean, I don't know your name or your name. Which you should, I'm sorry. Oh, you talked to Maureen yesterday? Yes. Okay, sure, yeah. Jenny? Super, we'll talk later. Okay, did she call you and tell you to call me?
She accidentally called me, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good incentive, just to keep them.
Well, yeah, so you have to acknowledge the act of referral. It's not the end result that you're thanking them, it's the act of it.
Right.
So Sue calls and says, hey, Lauren, I've got even an agent that calls you, hey, So I've got this guy, he wants to buy a home, but I don't want to drive from Orange County, he take it. Yeah, so I go up and I meet him and send her a referral fee, that's a little different, but you also send a card. The minute you get it, whether you get that listing or not.
Send the card.
Yeah, I do, and when I go on a listing appointment, when I get in the car, I write a thank you note, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you spending the time with me to get to know, so I can get to know what your needs are. And I have to say, the moment you squat, like, let's say they do something extraordinary, like their kid comes in and interrupts them, instead of shooing away, they've been down and say, what is it, Sally? You know, it's supposed to not really. I was moved by the way you spoke with your child, something like that, acknowledge them as great, however you can do that. So like I told you, a lot of these are not just calls about leads, they're about building relationships. Because everybody I know, like I trust, is who I do business with. Okay, so here's a, oh, hi, John. Oh, how do I, nope, here? I don't have a computer.
Is there not a mouse?
Oh, yeah, just do this. Hi, John, sorry, okay, 4 touches, you guys all know this stuff, I think they've been teaching this till you're blue in the face, right? But I wanna do on the buyer thing, we did not talk about, so we talked about the free market analysis because they're selling a house. And I said, instead, why don't we set up an appointment so I can see it to get you a real value of what can happen in today's market, what you need to do to get it ready.
So,
Like you, we talked about that house up there, hauling stuff away,
right,
right?
so I can walk to like around my neighborhood, knock on someone's door and,
Are you licensed?
no, not yet, well, one
Yeah,
time,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
And ask them, hey, would you be willing to sell your house?
Well, you can.
I'll guarantee,
No,
I'm pretty sure.
you don't guarantee anything.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, you can if you wanna buy a house, right? So,
Boom.
there's a lot of agents that do things differently.
Legally, you can't use the word guarantee, right?
Well, you can, but you better
Thank you.
damn well better be able to do it.
True.
Because I've seen people say, I guarantee I'll sell your house. They have, or I'll buy it. That's their caveat. Well, you know why? Because they end up coming up, their guarantee says, okay, we're gonna list it at $1.3. But if it doesn't sell, my price is $800. And they sign that and agree to it on the thing.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm not gonna buy it for $800, I'll end up getting an investor that would come in and buy it, that kind of thing. I don't like that marketing, I don't wanna be indebted to, when you screw up one time, and I tell you, bad news travels faster than good news. So, did you get a review from those people?
No, idea.
Okay, so in HomeSnap or Google reviews, you have one called Testimony Tree, there's different places you can do it. I typically,
Realtor.com has like, it's like one of the first.
yeah, the problem is Realtor.com's okay, I don't think you can take those, so you're gonna need to cut and paste and put it, I want you to put all of your reviews in your presentations.
Oh, smart.
So you have a review, a testimonial page, and what I try and do is go to their Facebook and I'll grab your picture and put it there, it says, Sheena, 5 stars, and then it says, Lauren's team, blah, 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 whatever, right? I'm working on putting 2 on a page, or if it's for sellers, you want to also separate it by buyers and sellers. So you can have those different ones, because they're different experiences, right? When you buy a house, it's totally different than selling a house, in some aspects. Okay? So, build relationships with service providers, get your lenders, 2 or 3 of them, different personalities, fit with different people, somebody that speaks Spanish, because there's a lot of Spanish speaking, different languages. You want to have somebody that's, Korean or Chinese or Japanese, whatever it is, you want to have one that speaks that too. Because it just helps, because the contract is, I thought California, as diverse as it was, would have a contract in Spanish. They don't have it in any other language. So you have to pay a translator.
Okay.
That's why it has that thing on the bottom of that, I don't know if you've seen it, under the signatures of translator. So and so on such and such a date, that's what that is. But I have him and Pilar that speak Spanish for me, so. Okay, so we go through the free market analysis, then thank you for sharing. Are you planning to pay cash for your new home, or will you be getting a mortgage? Well, I used to think nobody has cash, everybody's paying cash now. They're pulling out their 401ks because it's dropped so much. They figure I'm gonna buy something that's, so you ask, hey, are you gonna pay cash or are you getting a mortgage? They love it because they think, she thinks I'm rich, right? Okay,
Let's go.
yeah, so are you paying cash, are you gonna get a mortgage, am I okay on time? What's this go till, 1?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're okay. Have you already been pre-approved by a lender? If yes, that's fantastic, who are you working with? Awesome, what's the amount you're approved for? What I always like to do is get their lender's name. I add to this, I hope you guys are okay with hearing my stuff too, okay? I ask for their name because I wanna call and introduce myself. So that if they ever have somebody call in, guess what? I've already done the step, right? So I call up and I say, hey Jackie, I just spoke to your client Donna and she tells me she's pre-approved for 850. Anything else I need to know? Well, yeah, don't put in a condo because they're at their max. See, so now I'm finding out that if they were approved for 850 and we can't find a house, they go to a condo, now they've got a $500 or $600 a month HOA fee that they may not be able to afford, so now the condo's gotta come down. Or that townhouse, so you have to remember that with HOAs. There's always a HOA fee or an assessment coming, you gotta make sure they can afford it. Or if they're buying a mobile home, the mobile home park, 99.9% of the time, they have to qualify to be able to pay the rent. Even if they're paying cash for the mobile home, maybe 40,000 and they're coming in. Well, now they've got a $1,400 a month mortgage, or sorry, rent space. So that now has to be approved by the park. So you can't remove those contingencies until they're approved in the park too.
They pay rent, what, they're paying their mortgage plus the rent space?
Yeah. So that's why they want to make sure that, and you guys have a lender, oh, we decided to buy this mobile home at 275. Well, they're max, what's their rent? Well, it's $1,400 a month, they can't afford it. So that's why I always start the conversation when I find out
You
you've got a
gotta
lender.
find the numbers out, you gotta make it.
Yeah, you gotta
Yes,
figure-
Yeah,
There's a mobile home in Forest right now that they're, I think the mortgage or the monthly mortgage would have been $1,850 a month. In order to qualify, you need to make
3 times.
$5,500 a month. So that's a lot.
And that's hard for the seniors, right? They've got a senior place, Skyline. And so if they raise the rents on those, some of those people are fixed incomes. So it's really important to you're breaking it down, the questions. I'm kind of slowing down here. Sorry, I get off on a tangent, but I want you guys to know what to ask. And then would your lender would you like a lender recommendation? Let's say they say, yeah, I'm approved, but he hasn't called me back, he hasn't done anything. So you can always give him a Chris or whatever. Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, the 10 meaning that you must buy as quickly as possible, and 1 meaning you're not sure you'll buy it all, how do you rate yourself? That's another way to find out if they're able, ready, and willing. On a 3.
Be honest with me.
Right. Yeah, a lot of them think they're ready, but then there's also people that say, I'm not ready to buy. And then they get a call. No, I had a lady, she was gonna sell her house, or she was gonna rent her house. I said, okay, great, and we were talking, we had the meeting, I was gonna go get the lease, the lease listing ready. She called me and says, bring a listing. And I said, why? She goes, I decided I'm gonna sell her, get married, and move into a home. You don't know what's gonna happen. And another thing is to know the neighborhoods, like parts of Torrance have soils conditions, where
it's like swampy,
no, it's like,
Shifty, but right.
yeah, what it is it used to be called Maple period. So they built the houses on adobe, so it moves, so you
It's like
can have.
along the boulevard over there, no, like.
The ants are in that area.
Yeah, that area. over there.
Yeah, so, what would it take to make it be a 10? Maybe you find out, oh, I'm waiting for some tax money, whatever, right? You start asking these questions. When do you need to be in your new home? I am excited to help you to buy a home. In order to help you find the perfect home, we all need to do is set up an appointment so I can get in your home get you in your home in time, which is better for you, and then that's when you set up appointments and visit, meet with them. And then you give them, I like to give them a home search sheet, you know, like, it's kind of like, one of them will ask them what's important to you, you know, maybe it's a kitchen, a new kitchen, or maybe it's a family room, maybe it's an office, you know, you ask them what's important on these questionnaires. And then you also can do, areas, you know, that they don't want to be in. You know, what's important to you. You want to find out what they need. They have to have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, because they've got 2 kids and they're married. Their wish list is a fireplace, a pool, and this and that. So you start with a wish list and you break it down. Because as they go out and see the wish list, oh God, that's $1 million. Maybe they don't need a pool, you know, and stuff like that.
So, once we have all that information,
You're gonna put it in your your CRM,
yeah,
right, and you have it in the notes, but you're also going to meet with them, right? And you're gonna send them properties from the MLS. Once you get in, you'll see there's an MLS. You put all that criteria in there and you're sending them exactly what they want.
and that's when we'll be talking to the other agents, right?
What?
The MLS, those,
That's what let's say I get a listing, that's what I'm talking about. I put it in the MLS, that's where all of you see it.
okay, and then I contact you, like, oh, I have a buyer.
Right, I have somebody that'd like to see the property on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, whatever it is, that's what that is, okay?
Yeah.
So now we go to next. Hello? It's not sharing anymore. Oh, qualified sellers. Same thing, pre-listing questionnaire. Here it is, how did you hear about me? Where are you moving? You first start with their names. This is a phone call. How soon do you have to be there? If we sell your home in the next 30 days, will that pose a problem for you? So you're asking them, is that going to pose a problem if we sell it fast? Right? If it does, you need to know that because you're going to have to tell them on the MLS to the agents, make it a 45-day escrow or the owners want to lease back, stay in after, seller in possession after close. It's freezing again. Yeah. I don't know how to turn it off.
Maybe open the door.
Oh, yeah,
That
They
will.
might
Even
find
if
coffee.
that's-
circulation, because it is cold.
Yeah, it is.
They're all probably dying of heat now. What would happen if your home did not sell? You have to have that option. We're going into that kind of market. How do you want to list how much do you want to list your home for? A lot of them come, when you sit down, they have an idea. They've been on Redfin, they've been on Zillow, they've been on Realtor.com. One says 1.2, one says 1.7, and one says 800. They're gonna say, I want to list for 1.7. I'm like, where'd you get that number? What gave you the idea your house was worth 1.7? What makes you so special in that neighborhood? You gotta find out. Well, we took it down to the studs. It's totally remodeled. There's nothing like in the neighborhood, we get on the house. You gotta get to those questions because you can't help them if you don't. I'll be sending you a packet of information. Will you take a few minutes to review it? What I like to do is send somebody like good-looking guy like Rory to a house and say, there's a basket, and he knocks and he says, hey, Mr. Seller, Lauren asked me to drop off this package to you. She'd like you to fill it out before your appointment tomorrow. Or review it before the appointment tomorrow. What it is what are their favorite features in the house? I do it with a basket too. I got this from a realtor out of Kansas. It's kind of funny. It has, well, now I've been hand wipes and stuff because of COVID. But it had things like aspirin, and then it has like a candy dish with little bags of candy. And it breaks it down and says all of these things are in here and what they are. You know, here's this. Please review the packet. There's also a packet in a folder that says it's like a questionnaire. What's your 5 favorite features? Why are you, if they're filling that out, and when you get there, it's all filled out, you've got the listing. Because you make them think about it. Right? You've already got them emotionally attached to you by filling all that out for you. So I have a little packet I send, I have to update it, I haven't done that. Another thing I gotta do. Do you have any questions before we meet? First thing I'm gonna say is, what's your commission? Yeah. Well, what does it cost you? What would you say?
We charge 6%.
No, I would say, what do you think is fair?
That's good, okay, what do you, Jackie?
I'll let you
We charge 6% and we offer all this stuff.
That's a great way to do it. But if you ask enough questions, you might know they're in a bind, right? Or they're just walking away with hundreds of thousands, millions, maybe I got one guy that's got $1 million equity. I'm not gonna cut my commission on that, plus he's got tenants. So you find out what's going on in there. The average commission right now is 5%. That's what's average. I was charging 7% for a while. It depends on the property.
You can charge whatever you want, right?
Right, it's not fixed, you have to say it's not fixed, but I charge 6% because I do all of this. You can say that.
Or would you say you charge 5%?
That could be a 10%.
No, I start on all my listings at 6%, I let them, and then I ask them, why do you need it at 5%? And they just go, oh, right, say, like one guy came to me, I was at a listing, he's like, I want to buy this, I want you to represent me, but I want you to cut your commission. I go, why? He sat down and goes, because you're getting both sides. I said, yeah, that's a big risk. Because it is a bigger risk to me to do both sides. I don't do both sides, I always refer it out, so you guys might be lucky.
The agency is really.
It's not, it's sketchy. You can do it here in California, a lot of states
But
don't.
there's a lot of laws pertaining to
Yeah,
it, so it's very,
yeah.
because you have to be fair to both. and it's
Right,
like,
but see, when you have a
you gotta
listing.
keep it super balanced and it's really.
But if you read the agency, when you have a listing, your fiduciary is always to the seller. Always.
Yeah, the buyer's
So
the
if you come to me and say, I want you to represent me, I'll say, yeah, but my fiduciary is to the seller. They think they're gonna get a better deal. They're really not gonna get a better deal because everything's now blocked. When Jackie could call me as a buyer's agent and say, hey, got this buyer, they're at this, what do I need to do? I'll say, well, we've got several offers, we're asking some, they could compel me. Do you know there was a point where people would, when I sold my house in 2005, market was coming up. They came in, multiple offers, it was in San Pedro on 13th Street in Minor. It's average, I mean, it's a little Spanish house. They came in, I was asking $585, they came in at $630, and they threw in a timeshare for a week in Hawaii for 4, and they paid for the tickets. That's how bad they wanted. That's what, wow. Yeah, so I always tell my buyers, what do? You find out what they do. Maybe they own a travel agency, maybe they own a limousine business. Hey, why don't we throw in a night out on the town? Because you're in multiple offers, you can't do love letters anymore. It's against the law because they think it's discrimination. Because an owner may say, oh, I didn't want to, they don't. I mean, my sellers aren't that way, but I've heard of sellers going, it's not a blind neighborhood, so we don't want them in here. That kind of thing. That's what they think that they base that on, the love letters. Say in the listing agreement, there's a box out, will you accept the love letters? Ask your seller, do you want them to present why they want to buy the house? And what I used to do is a video of their favorite room, let's say, Shannon's over there and she's in the kitchen and she's like, oh my God, I just love this kitchen, I love what you did, and we used to send videos to the owner and the listing agent and said, and the lender would come in and say, this person's totally qualified. So there was no doubt that this thing was gonna close because they'd shown their face. I'm a big believer that you present every offer if you can. That's how I started. And if you guys ever want to go through how that works. Yep. So that's basically a sheet. You guys should have it in your books. Do you have a copy of this in your books? Okay. I don't know. I don't have a copy of the book. Role play for 15 minutes. There's your ABCs. Okay. So, what's that aha that you guys have learned that maybe you didn't know? Let's start with, Rory. Maybe, you know, how I asked you before, do you get something out of this every time?
Definitely love what you do with your offers, like asking your clients what they do for a living. For example, my dad's a contractor.
He could do the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Something crazy like that.
So, the more you get to, that's great. See, that's something that you probably would never have done.
Yeah.
I had a hairdresser that was buying a house. So she offered, she goes, you get a year's free of hair salon. She was a top salon in the Riviera. So the more you know about your client, the you go, hey, you know you're off about 14, 15 offers. And you go, you know what, you own that limousine company.
Oh.
What if we, first off, ask if we can present the offer. What does that look like? I call you up, and hey Donna, I've got an offer for your property, and I know you said there's multiple offers. To be fair, right? And oh, another question I was asked, are you representing one of the buyers? Because if they are, they gotta lean in and tell them.
See, that my aha is to use the questionnaire sheet, because you said it's leading questions.
Yeah. Yeah, you need that, right?
Yeah.
So, and you can make up your own too as you go. You'll find there's questions that maybe you didn't ask. But I would say, you know, like, why did you buy this house? Like, you know, they want to sell it. Why did you buy here? Oh, it was close to work. I was an engineer at Toyota, whatever. You know them all. What do they offer? Probably not a lot. But then you find out, what are you gonna do after you sell? Oh, I've started a business. Have a bakery. And oh, well, guess what? Now when you present the offers, you're bringing the bakery, the items to the sellers. So, I don't know. I think you have to get creative, even in this market, because yes, it is shifting a little bit, but I'm still seeing 15 to 20 offers. So guess what? Keller Williams agents comes in with some ideas, right? You come in and you're like, oh, I got this, but you have to dig to find out your clients' motivation and also what they do, why they're buying. Like I think you said, I'm moving, right? So maybe you're moving to, I don't know, maybe a nurse, right? And so she really probably doesn't have anything to offer, but she's a hobby of art. So she does some kind of painting of the house or something. You know what I mean? Something. It's maybe they're animal lovers. You bring biscuits for the dog, you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to get you guys to think out of the box.
Just making a new friend.
You're different than everybody else. That's the best thing. So at this point, we've uncovered your A, B, and C buyers. When you uncover a buyer who is not able, ready, willing to buy now, that indicates that the future transaction you may build relationships. So that's about staying top of mind, right? Yeah.
Do you keep a list of all of the properties you sold and you follow up with your old sold like?
It's all in the MLS.
Do you follow up with like people you sold houses to, like, hey, how's it going? Are you looking?
That's
to
what I'm
sell?
talking about,
Do you
like-
know that you have equity in your property and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that's what command is for, right? You put it in as your past client, you have past sellers, past buyers. They're each gonna be different messages. Sellers are gonna be, hey, on command, you can, like, let's say they move to Riviera, Lower Riviera. They have a thing on command, wherever their address is, you can click on it to send them a quarterly or a bi-monthly update of their market for that little pocket. And then that info comes from nextdoor.com. If you guys are all in Nextdoor, you know how they're all named something, that's where that comes from. So they automatically get that. Your buyers are now the owners. The sellers have moved out of the area. Okay, so what do we do for sellers that have moved out of the area? Well, no, let's say they're in a different state.
From to another agent.
No, they're already gone. They moved. It's just 6 months later.
Birthdays,
years later.
anniversaries.
Birthdays, right. Did you know that on Facebook, you can download everybody's birthday into your calendar?
Yeah.
Google it. What I did was I downloaded it, figured it out, but I couldn't tell you how to do it now, and I had an assistant that helped me, because young people are great. And so they went through and she would highlight my calendar, we'd print out the Facebook calendar, every month I'd highlight the ones for the next 3 months of people I know, really know, not just, and I hand write a birthday card and send it to them. Another thing on Facebook, another great way to build relationships is somebody's graduating, right? Jackie's got an 18-year-old who's graduating from South High this week, or this month, send them a card, $50, $25, whatever. They're going off to college, they just graduated high school, you want to acknowledge that. There's times that you could see somebody did something like, they got an award from the city, take that picture, frame it, and send it to them. Make it from digital to personal. It's really not that hard, you guys. It's just we get so, I get in my head so much sometimes I forget about it. That's why I want them in the classes so they go, Lauren, remember that time you talked about this idea? We should be doing it. So you can download your Facebook and there's your birthdays. The other thing you want to do is all your buyers that have closed on a deal, she's selling pizzas. For my little silly sign, every month now, she could probably call that pizza place and send it every month. Just take a review, thought, wonder how you love the house, have some pizza on me, whatever, be yourself, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna send pizza all my buyers, yeah. Okay, so now we're doing a pre-listing questionnaire with a volunteer. We don't have to volunteer, I'm just gonna read to you. I think it's easier, okay? It says, hi, Rory, I'd like to take 5 minutes. This is a call that comes in, let's say they want to sell, right? I'd like to take about 5 minutes of your time to ask you some important questions that will help me provide you the best service. Let's start by making sure I have your correct contact information. You've got their phone number because it's right there, you read it back. What's your email address, and what's the best way to contact you? Cell or call, phone, or sorry, talk, text, or email, sorry. Perfect. What is the address of the home that you're interested in selling? You're at the same time, I'd be pulling it up. I go into the MLS and then you click on cross property on the MLS. So you go to MLS, residential, click on cross property. It will bring you everything that's ever happened to that property if it's been on the market, release, whatever. Sometimes, I think it's over 1998, it won't show up, but anything after that should show up. So you'll see, God, they bought it for $100, for $50,000, I bought it for $150,000, somebody else bought it, oh, these guys bought it for $300,000. And then at the same time, you do a little circle thing, oh my gosh, the houses are selling for $1 million, they've got $1 million in equity. There's your conversation. Do you live in the house or is it a rental? Because if they live in the house, you've got to come up with a solution so that they don't have to pay capital gains.
1031.
Because, yeah, well, no, not if they live in it.
Okay.
If it's a primary residence, it can't be 1031.
Oh, it can't be approved if it's because of the.
If it's a primary residence, and, okay, they bought it for $300,000, it's not worth $1.3 million, let's say, okay? They're married, so and her husband are selling their place. So they've got $1 million equity right there. Well, when you're married in the state of California, I don't know if it's federal or, I think it's California, $500,000 exemption, $250 per person. Maybe federal. I don't know. I think it's California, but anyway, the exemption is $500,000 per married or $250 per person. So now that you take $500,000 out of it, you've got $500,000 sitting there, they're going to get taxed on at about 28%. That may talk them out of selling, so you better have a solution. Because they're going to interview other agents and they're going to see if these agents came up with solutions, right? So the solution I would say is, well, Mr. Seller, so you've got $1 million equity, $500,000 we know you get exempt, your fees are going to be exempt, plus, have you done any improvements lately? Yeah, we put a new roof on, we updated the kitchen since we bought it, so all of those go into that exemption. So now let's say it's $100,000, okay? So now they're at $600,000 exemption. Okay, you got it? So now there's $400,000 sitting there. What I would suggest to them, and I would recommend each of you coming over the plan on how to do this, it's called seller financing. We haven't done that since when we bought our place in San Diego. We can do an 80-10-10. seller finance some of it, let them get the loan on the other, they're second in line, but and they'll say, well, what's the benefit of me? Well, you're gonna get interest rate of about 6 or 7%, right? Because what's the market today, 5.5, 5.25, I think he said something. So you wanna go higher than but nobody's getting paid out of their 401ks right now. There's no money, there's no interest rates that are any good. Right? So now they're gonna make 6%, 7%, whatever they decide. Yeah, I'll do for 7%, great. So now you have 400,000, you can amortize it over however many, 30 years, doable in 10. Figure out what that payment is, you go to their lender. And you say, okay, we're gonna have seller financing with this as well. Can they do it? And the person goes, because you're gonna get all the information from the lender. You wanna make sure they qualify. You can't just do that and not have them qualify. They go through it and they look and say, yeah, actually, if you can go 20 years, they qualify because it'd be less money, let's say. Okay, so we do 20 years, payable in 20 years, which means they do either a balloon payment, refi, at that time or whatever. So you've got a solution. I mean, there's a whole way to break it down, and it's a whole nother class. But I just want you to think about solutions for people that are going, I can't sell, I've got too much equity. I don't want to give it to the government. What?
It should be higher in California.
I know, but
It's the whole nation.
is it? Did you Google it? Okay, so that exemption's everywhere. Okay, so that's what I would do. That's what I'm working on with a guy from Redondo that has $1 million equity. He's like, I don't want to give it to the government. They keep spending it wrong. I go, okay, well, we can do a seller financing. He's actually had it as a rental for 10 years. I said, you could do a 1031. He goes, yeah, but I'm gonna get taxed. Anyway, when I pull it out later, I go, yeah, he goes, the taxes could be higher than.
Is
The
he gonna
capital
pull it
gains.
out, or is he gonna give it to the
I don't know
kids?
yet. He doesn't have any kids.
That's hard,
Yeah,
that's a hard one.
yeah. Because the other thing is,
Can you donate it to a charity or something?
I don't know how much is write-offable. And another thing I always say, check with your real estate attorney, check with your attorney, your financial planner, or your CPA. What's the best thing for you? Because everybody's got a different thing that we don't know about. I mean, somebody may have ways around it that we don't know about. Maybe they got some kind of Delaware trust or something. I don't know.
Also, or it could be like a business expense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Remodel,
a single family home.
or you could say it was a remodeling expense.
Well, no, that's part of those exemptions I told you can do.
Right.
It's the fees and any improvements you get on the home, you can add into the exemption.
You just say you remodel the whole thing.
Well, you can't say it if you can't prove it, if you get audited.
Right,
So you have to be careful what you tell them.
right.
So that's why I say, sit down with your accountant or your financial planner and figure out the best way to do
Yeah,
this.
because you really don't want to give that kind of.
No,
advice.
I don't want to give that advice,
You're
but I
right.
tell them there's an option. And here's how we can do it. Take an amortization plan with you, but it's a great solution with all the equity that people are getting right now. And then a divorce, so they got a divorce, now they've got this house, and now they've got $500, $1 million equity, and they only get $250 exemption as a single person.
So what do we do? Yeah.
Well, that's somehow you do the seller carry or for some of it, I don't know, I'm trying to come up with a plan, but that's kind of my solution right now. Okay. Connect to perfect. What is the address of your home? Okay, thank you for the first thing. Start your market analysis. I just have a few more questions. Starting with how you heard about me. I referred from Sue, whatever. May I shift the focus a bit more on you? Where are you planning to move to? Because if they're planning to move to somewhere that we can refer them to another agent, that's another piece of the puzzle. Because in Keller Williams, if you go into contacts, there's a whole, they're all over the country, right? So somebody calls and says, I've got somebody coming from Redondo Beach that's moving to Texas. You interview them, make sure they're a good fit, they're animal people or whatever, right? So great, what's your referral fee? And they say 25%, go, oh, well, the guy down the street that I talked to said 35%. She goes, okay, it's free lead for them. You should at least give me 35%. And their prices are half ours too, though. Thank you for sharing those details. If we sell your house in the next 30 days, will that pose a challenge for anyone in the household? In other words, there may be a kid that's graduating from high school and you want to wait till that's done. So those kind of things. Well, then now guess what? Now you know somebody's graduating from high school, what are you gonna do? You're gonna send a card and a money order or a check that says congratulations, proud of you. Well, you've now got the kid on your side, right? I'll be sending the packet of information to provide the timeframe, same as I did before. We'll take you a few minutes to review it before we meet. Yes, great. Speaking of meeting, which is better for you? Yes, and date. Perfect. Do you have any questions? Same thing, same thing, same thing. Okay, so. Here we are. I think we're at it. Yep. So at this point, we've uncovered our A, B, and C's. When you uncover the sellers who are not able, ready, and willing to buy right now, that indicates there are future transactions, so you need to stay in touch. You put them in the nurturing one, that maybe every couple months they get a in command. There's a way you can send out texts. There's a way you can send out emails, and there's a way you can send letters. So I would get familiar with it. I don't know it all either. I'm learning. But I did send out an email. It was really funny. I took one of the smart plans and it said, hey, I just made a move to Keller Williams. Just wanted to let you know to update your info. It said Lauren and your last name, Lauren Strickland. It said Lauren Radecki to him. And so I did these calls. Are we related? I'm like, oh my gosh. So make sure you read the smart plan that somebody else made that it says agent first name and it says contact last name. But you know what, I got calls, right? I got calls, they're like,
new family you have.
right, they're like, my accountant calls, he's like, when did you get married? And is he a family member? I'm like, oh my god. Follow up converge, we got that, yep, that's it, I think we're done. I wanna sit down and see what you guys need in order to feel comfortable out there. So let's start back there. What do you need? What's your ahas? How's it going?
I think I need to practice. And going out there and looking at prices. See what our growth is.
Yeah, it's a big key. And one thing to do that they used to do to me was they wanted me to come back and tell them about the 5 houses I saw. How am I supposed to do that? What I did was I would take each house, let's say I go in and there's blue curtains but it's on Reese Street. So I remembered the house by something that triggered me. One house I was, it smelled like gas and green carpet. It was a white, I think to this day, from 24 years ago, I can remember that house. So think of one thing that triggers you to remember that house. That makes sense. Okay. I don't know if everybody's mind works like that, but that's how mine did. And then, okay, you. What kind of thing about you?
My home moment was the questionnaire study.
We're not need to. It's like a lead-in question. It makes it so you're more comfortable asking the questions. But you always pre-qualify on the phone. Make sure that's not a waste of your time. And if you're going to a listing and you don't feel safe, I always say take somebody with you because you're going into their home. I don't mean to scare you guys, but stuff happens to us all the time. Especially new, you're small, petite, they can overtake you really quick. I keep a little taser with me. Not that I'm gonna be able to grab it quick enough, but I do. They come to my house, I have a gun. But I'm telling you, it's you have to think about that. So you might say, hey, Jackie, I'm going on this listing appointment. Do you have time to come with me? Now, and if you know the client, if you've already recalled them, maybe there's a husband or wife and it's going to take a man so the woman doesn't think you're hitting on her husband. That happens all the time. I'm like, I don't have any interest in your husband. But that's that insecurity thing. This good looking guy, he comes in with you, that husband's gonna be jealous, so have both.
I met with 2 older ladies the other day and my girlfriend was there with me and I was so happy that she was there just to connect as woman to woman. You know, it was just much easier
And
for
so
me.
we have different things that we
Yeah.
need. We need the attention, we need you looking directly at us.
Yeah.
So that's just a thought. Now, I know you think, oh, well, then I gotta split my commission. Who cares? You're safe, you're helping somebody in the office, you're both, yeah, you're both gonna, maybe you bring something she doesn't. There may be a personality thing, so that's why that pre-qualification is so important. Because if I'm talking to somebody and I know they, first language, Peruvian or Cuban, I'm gonna take Pilar with me. Because she'll speak Spanish too and break that little bit of the barrier. If there's somebody Japanese, I'm gonna get somebody Kyoko. Grab her and say, come with me, we'll split this listing, because I need somebody that gets out of the comfort zone. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And what's really great is, let's say you both go in, you do an open house and you tag team the open house, or you decide everything becomes in its own. But let's say one of them wants to buy the house. Now you switch. You take over the conversations with the seller, or you decide, and you now have the buyer. So you're not splitting the commission anymore, you're each getting your share. Okay, so that's how I see it. Anyway, what can I do to help you? I know you said commands is one thing.
Understand, I mean, before I can go any further,
No.
I can make my calls, I can contact people, but I've been using Excel,
That's
but I
fine.
wanna use Premiere.
I
You
know.
know, and I email. And one of his people emailed me back and referred me to your instructions. The instructions are great,
Yeah, I know.
you
It's
know, and
hard.
so, I'm just old school, you know, I'm not like the young kids where, this is, social media is
Do
just.
you have a mentor yet?
Yeah, I have a mentor.
Have they gone through the commands with you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But
ask-
I'm hoping to get a start on that,
Yeah.
because she's very busy and I wanna, you know.
But still, they have to meet with you once a week. I would say, okay,
we can
this
once a
week, I want to do command.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here's my phone number, it's
Okay,
138.
maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, just say, can we
Yes,
upload these?
Okay.
So Google how to download your contacts. There's a way to export them, it goes into
I
a
was
link.
looking for that because,
There's a way to do it, I don't know how. Somehow mine got uploaded, so I don't know.
yeah.
And then,
To export your contacts into Facebook.
no, there's two different things I told you. The Facebook, you can export your calendar, all your contacts to your calendar's birthdays, okay? That's one. The other thing was you take your cell phone, you go to the bottom of your phone and it says how many numbers you have, how many contacts you have, right? There's a way to export those and then it says a link and then the link goes into the Excel and then you can clean it up in there, because like I said, maybe you've got your email address and then I've got you as a phone number too, so you merge them, right, you bring them together, get rid of duplicates, because Excel does that, and then upload them. And if you can't upload them, send them to Scott and he'll upload them. Okay? But that's the first start just with command. You have to do the contacts, because you can't do anything without contacts, so that's that. Yes.
My aha moment was when you said we can't, not bribe, but like we can't give our clients, like we can't really incentivize, like we can't.
Well, you can give them something, but it's not on the basis of a referral.
No, not on a basis, we don't say it's on a basis of referral.
No, right, basically what you're doing is thank you for the
We're not
business.
saying I'm gonna give you this in exchange for a
Right, you
referral.
can't say that. What
No,
you can't say is thank you for the business.
What I'm thinking is like, I give them a flat screen TV, they just bought their new home, their friends are coming over to watch TV.
Right, that's
If you
okay.
get this TV, oh, this
That's
new
okay.
realtor bought it for me, the one that bought that, I got
Right.
this house. Oh, really, that's great, what's his name? Can I get his info?
Right. No, that's okay.
Yeah,
You want things in the house, like I gave a,
that's what I wanted to understand.
Yeah, that's okay. the sellers, okay, the sellers, when I have a seller that's at home, I take, because I always use professional photography, I'll take the picture of the house and put it on a glass cutting board. So and it has a message on it that says thanks for the business, you know, appreciate you, whatever. And it has my little logo and my name on the bottom, so every time they're cutting food for their family, I'm out there. And some of them leave them out on their sinks. Which are hard. What can I do then?
My comment was,
Thank you, okay, yeah.
the seller finance and your A, B, and C clients.
Yeah, indeed, yeah, but those are.
Well, the trust.
Yeah, so it's sorting, remember, it's not just A, B, and C, it's A, B, and C buyers and A, B, and C sellers.
Of course.
And then service providers. What I do then is I have A service providers, the ones who refer me business on a regular basis. Let's say I have one carpet cleaner that says, hey, I just want to decide to clean the carpet because I'm gonna sell something. That's somebody that brings you new business, so you gotta kind of tag that somehow, I don't know how, maybe hyperventilating, whatever, right? So you think of those two. But the minute you get the referral, that should have been your aha, is I sent them a note. Thank you for thinking of me with your friend Jackie. I can't wait to help her with her needs, help her with selling her house, whatever it is. That's something, and then maybe a little, have a copy on me. $5 It's not too much, just enough, okay? Coffee cards, Mia, what's yours?
Well, I like the confidence that you have teaches me that I need to be more confident. I would love to do some.
I am not confident,
Well,
okay, as
wait.
long as I come first tell you that, and we're okay.
Yes, you definitely are very knowledgeable, of course. But I like the fact, I would look through open houses, feel and see, to know the market, to understand what's out there, so I can speak with confidence and know what I'm speaking about. But I like the fact how you gave a solution if the client wants to, does not want to sell the home because of the equity, and you have a great reasoning why you can, you give different options, but I must know how to solve those problems to get them in to say, you know what, we're gonna finance, someone's gonna carry.
Or,
And communicating with
not
those
about
lenders.
renting it, we'll take care of
Yes.
finding you the perfect renter that's in here, so it's not gonna somebody that trash your home. What do you need for monthly income? Because if they've paid it off, or they've inherited the property, different,
And you communicate with those lenders,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah. And the lenders can help you figure out what a payment should be at 6%, amortized over 20 years and that kind of thing. And then they send it, they sit down with you, and the client, and say, you know what? Here's how I would structure it, if they, here's how the loan's structured, they're allowed to pay up to this amount, so that's 5%, not 6%, are you okay with that? Where are they gonna get 5% on their money right now? They're not. So to me, I don't know, I haven't even figured out exactly how it's gonna go, but come up with a solution, that's what they're saying. You tell me your aha, which is, or what do you want, you need help with?
What do you tell people when they ask, I want a lease to own?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's actually, people think it might be coming again.
Really?
Yeah, so I've never done it. First off, I'll tell you that, because the market
Never been a thing.
has never been a thing.
Yeah.
In other states, it's a big thing. Yeah, so basically the way, at least what he asked is, let's say, they do it, some owners.
Because most of them, they never end up owning the home, they're always leaving, that's
Right.
what they do, that's why the investors do that.
Right, but
Because they're basically paying rent and
Right.
they can't afford
but
it.
they pay more. So
Yeah.
basically what happens is,
Yeah, they pay more because they think they're gonna own it, yeah.
right, so let's say the rent's 3,000. I'm gonna tell you as lessee, because it wants to buy it, I need a down payment. So you give me 5,000, whatever, that's your deposit as a lease. So you have two separate kind of contracts, I think, I've never done this, but to me, how to do it is, you've got a lease and you have the option to buy it after so many years.
Yeah.
But to do that, you're gonna put an extra $1,000 a month on your rent, but if you walk away, I keep that money. It doesn't go back to them.
Nope.
But
So
the
it's-
seller needs to be
yeah.
willing to do that,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And so
Someone would love to do that.
No, the buyer has to agree to do it, yes.
Yeah, the seller would love it.
But
because
No,
it's extra
sellers
money.
always gonna do that.
hey, this isn't really a thing.
Not in California.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, you know what, we can ask a seller if they wanna do that, like if you have a renter, let's say there's an out of town owner. Right, and your buyer wants that house.
That's more like an investor thing,
No,
huh?
not necessarily, let me just tell them this angle, okay?
Right.
So let's say you got an owner that's out of town, they've been renting your house. And now it's up for rent again, and you call and go, I've got a guy that wants to buy in this neighborhood, have you thought about selling? He'll say, yeah, I have, but I like the monthly income. That's one way you could do it. right? Or have you thought about selling new solar financing? It's basically the same thing if somebody wants a lease to own, because I guarantee you, if they stop their payments, this owner gets the house back, and now they've made $30,000-$40,000 more than they would have made. They sold it for, let's say, 600. The people made their 10 years of payments, now they can't make payments anymore. And the owner takes the house back, they made monthly income. There is a little bit of wear and tear, but sometimes what happens is, when they do that lease to own, they're doing all these improvements on the house.
Because they think they're gonna own it one day.
Right, they think they're gonna own it, so now they own it.
Same thing with a car, they think they're gonna own it, but they always give it back, yeah.
Yeah, and so they come back, and they say, yeah, hell yeah, I'll let you do those improvements, it's your house,
Yeah, go ahead.
Seller financing, same thing. They think they own it. They go in and now they go, "Oh, God, but, we're moving, our job's moving, and they can't sell it for whatever the market's turning, they try and sell it. They can sell the house if it's seller financing. If it's lease to own, they can't.
It sounds good, but they don't know that a lot can happen
Yeah,
in 20 to
yeah,
30 years.
Yeah,
a lot can
crazy
happen.
things can happen, but that's a great question. It doesn't happen a lot here. I think I've heard of one person.
It's like more like mid to like.
It's
US,
Investors like Ronald LeGrand out in
states.
Texas, he does it all the time. He'll buy a house, he'll go to the seller and give them dirt cheap money for it, $100,000, and then he'll let somebody buy it from him. They sell it. That's more of an out of area. I don't know how it works. You can go into the Ronald LeGrand program and he talks about it. Because they always leave. And now you get the house back and then. So I think we're done. I mean, it's 15 minutes early. Any other questions or concerns or anything you need from me? Okay. Sure. Anytime. Anything you need, call me. Okay.
My main thing is just on like the legal side of things,
Well, that's why you have your team with you.
Right.
Me. That's
What I
why-
can and can't say, what I
Yeah.
can and can't.
Well, that's
do.
why when you're new, your first 3 transactions are with your
Like with
mentor.
marketing, I know there's certain ways you can word things, you can't word things.
Well, yeah, that's why when you're new, you have a mentor. You have somebody looking over, you have them going over listing appointments with you. Because one, you're not going alone as a woman. This beautiful woman goes in there and it's some person you don't know. I'll tell you a story, it'll freak you out, make you want to go with somebody else. So they were in Culver City. This woman got a text and says, I got a call from a woman that says, hey, is this Mary? Yes. I saw your name on a sign at my neighbor's. I want to sell my house. Can you meet me tonight at 7 o'clock? She goes, oh, that's too late, but I can do 5. Okay, great. They schedule, get the address, whatever. So later, the woman texts and goes, hey, Mary, it's me, Betty. I'm at work, so I have to text now. Okay, so she says, okay, we're on for 5, yeah, here's the address, make sure, I'll be there. So she gets there, she drives up, parks, never park in the driveway because they can pin you in, they can park behind you. She gets up there, goes up to the door, and this guy answers, and she says, I'm here to see Mary. They said, yeah, she's in the back on the computer. And she's walking in, she was so smart. She's walking in. She sees 2 more guys coming in, what are those white beaters, like I don't know, those t-shirts, yeah, white beaters. I'm sorry, I don't mean that, but that's what we called them when I was growing up. Yeah.
And they set her up.
So they set her up, right? So she's in there and she goes, as she's walking into the room where Mary's supposed to be, there's a mirror and she sees the guy behind the door. So she backs up and goes, you know what? I forgot something in the car. I need to go get my.
Without arousing suspicion.
Without arousing suspicion, she got out of the car and 2 more guys were coming. It was going to be. She called the police. Police were like, what do we do? Nothing happened. I'm sick of hearing that because that's what they keep saying. So be safe. There was another woman, got a call, lead, online lead, gets there, goes to show the house, didn't have anybody with her. She left her purse and everything in the car. After he raped her, murdered her, and left her in the trunk in a car down to San Diego from here. So you're gonna find, and I'm not saying it to scare you, I just want you guys to not always think about the money, think about you first and your environment, that's all.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. But I would say, I'm gonna stop this. Stop share. And.